Are you curious about how I created my beliefs of manifesting and other random thoughts that I'm going to share in this video? Well, you're in luck because that's what we're going to talk about today. Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I'm going to share with you how I built my belief in manifesting. So if you haven't already subscribed, definitely subscribe. Hit the bell icon below because I do put out new videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you are looking for coaching, we do have some excellent coaches able to help you. The links are in the description below. And I intend that everybody's going to get something out of this video that's going to help them to understand how powerful they are as a creator. So let's dive into it. How I created the belief of my thoughts creating. So for those of you that have been watching this channel for a while or have seen a lot of my videos, you all know that I've got two major beliefs. The first one is I can be, do, and have anything I want. The second one is I have a really strong belief in my thoughts creating. Well, and the third one is everyone's definitely me pushed out. That's 100% solid. So those are the three beliefs that I have in my life, okay? And how did I get to those three beliefs? Through practice, okay? A lot of my understanding of law of attraction and how we create has been the sum total of my previous education. So I am a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, as well as a hypnotherapist, as well as a certified life coach. I've been through Landmark and a whole bunch of other courses about self-development. I've always been a big self-development person, reading books like Dr. Joseph Murphy, Power of the Subconscious Mind, really interested in counseling and psychology and that sort of thing. So I've always been interested in human behavior and how, things work for us. So but really where my belief really came from, other than my strong desire and my really strong interest in the subject, was actually going out and trying and doing and practicing, okay? Because, someone can tell you, stop complaining, think positive, the power of positive thinking. And it's like, yeah. But until you actually go out and do it, and you actually get results from it, that's when it actually hits home, okay? So what I did is I made a list of everything that, all my complaints, okay? And I picked the biggest complaint on there. And when I took that complaint and I stopped complaining about it and focused on, actually what I wanted, okay, for that 1 week, it actually manifested, okay? And when I saw how it manifested, I was like, whoa. And so then I thought, just out of sheer curiosity, what else can I apply this to, okay? And it's about going out and, clearing out a lot of, the old stories and stuff that you have around things. Like I remember years ago in, I think it's Peak Potentials, they've got a Millionaire Mind, and so it's about manifesting money, and same with Napoleon Hill and all of that. So, reading all of those sorts of things and starting to really take a look at knowing that we need to clear out the old stories. And once we clear out all the old stories and old beliefs, we're able to turn them into new ones and to create new ones, okay? So I think the biggest thing, for me, the biggest breakthrough was a mental diet, right? Which in NLP they call pattern interrupt. Neville calls it a mental diet. Napoleon Hill refers to it in his he calls it finishing a thought completely. So basically if you have a negative, or something you focusing on what you don't want, turn it right into what you want. Never leave that thought unfinished, where meaning if you're like, oh, Jerry's going to be late, that's an unfinished thought if you want him to be on time. So, no, Jerry's going to be late. No, Jerry's going to be on time. He's always on time. He's got a reliable car, sort of thing, right? So, I noticed that that was the one common theme that all of these, gurus basically taught. Same thing with, the breakthroughs in quantum physics of how now they can measure our thoughts and how our thoughts can actually alter matter. Okay, like for instance, Dr. Emoto, and he's got those experiments where he actually tapes words to water, and then he flash freezes the water, and he's able to look at it under a microscope, and he shows how words can actually alter the structure of the water. Okay, so I mean, all of these things all come down to that our thoughts are so incredibly important, and they actually do create. So, but even with all of this evidence and proof from all these areas, like I said, it's about going out and doing it and trying it on absolutely everything. Okay. Because my belief now is I can create anything. Okay. Anything, because I've seen some of the most outrageous things show up in my life, but I didn't start there. I started at small things. Okay. Like really small things. And then I kept building up. And I said, okay, well, if I can do it with that, then I can do it with that. And if I can do it with that, then I can do it with that. And, so, you want to build your faith and confidence in yourself as a creator. You want to build your faith and confidence in yourself that your thoughts do create. Okay, the biggest hang up that I had when I was younger is I would create something. I would intend, that, I don't know, I'm going to win the lottery. But in my mind, I would be like, oh, I don't think it's going to happen. Like I would have doubts. Now I can intend that. And I believe 100% that my thoughts create, and I know it's coming. I don't doubt and I don't question my power, my abilities to create. And that comes from experience and practice. Okay. So manifesting isn't something we choose to do one day and we choose not to do the next. We're constantly manifesting. It's the law. Our thoughts create. So we want to take our thoughts and we want to focus them enough on the positive things so those things become beliefs. And when those things become beliefs and you create your belief that, wow, you know what, like I'm a great creator and I create a lot of wonderful things, then you are truly unstoppable, So if you're manifesting a specific person or a relationship, okay, start working on focusing on manifesting things that prove to you that everyone is you pushed out. Because the more evidence you get of people being you pushed out, the easier it is going to be for you to, say, deal with a situation where you may have a little bit of resistance, okay? So yeah, practice. Go out, use it everywhere, everything. Intend the bus driver says something to you. Intend your coworker says something, intend. Start to really see the magic that's happening every minute of your day. A big part of it though is becoming aware of what your inner thoughts are. Okay. So we've got to become aware of what our inner conversations are. And once we're aware of those, and we can start to see the thought patterns we're having, that's when we can start intercepting them with our positive intentions and focusing on what we want. Okay, so that's the important part here. After you become aware, it just takes a little bit of discipline and focus to start getting in the habit of catching them and changing them. Sure, it's not about, catching and changing every single one of them every minute of the day, like you'll get there, but it's about, putting enough focus where you do change enough of them to start shifting what you're seeing in your reality, right? Another big part of it is taking this stance of the observer and just observing what shows up and not making anything mean rejection or failure. Right? If you never want to fail in your life, never make anything in your life that happens mean you're a failure. Okay. If you never want to be rejected by anybody, never make their behavior mean that they're rejecting you. Okay. Because you have the power to create. Okay. So rejection and failure is very much a self-created thing. Okay. So if you decide to never ever label anything as anything like that, then you're never going to have failures. You're never going to have rejection. Something that shows up that I may not like, I just say it's feedback. Okay, it showed up. Do I like it? No, I'm going to change it. So here's an example. I'm a creator, then I'm complaining Jerry's always late. And he's supposed to pick me up at 4:00 every Thursday for dance lessons, but he's late. That's because I was complaining about it. So guess what? Now he shows up late. Now, is that a failure on me as a creator? Absolutely not. It's just feedback. Okay, Jerry's late. Acknowledge it. I intend for Jerry to be on time. I intend for him to have a reliable car. I intend to always get to dance lessons on time with him. Okay, so it's just about taking a look at what's showing up in your reality. And if you love it, keeping it. And if you don't, acknowledging it and changing it. Now, when I say acknowledge it, I don't mean acknowledge Jerry's late, call 5 friends to complain about Jerry being late, and then constantly wonder how you created Jerry to be late. No, that's more focusing on lack and Jerry being late. Okay, what we want to do is just acknowledge it enough to go, oh, he's late. Okay, this is what I want instead. So my famous lines are, my thoughts create, everyone's me pushed out. I intend Jerry's going to be on time. And there are going to be times where you'll catch yourself and you'll be like, hold on, why am I going down this road? The one big thought pattern that I had to actually change, that I found was, I would get upset about things that actually hadn't even happened yet. Okay, like for instance, let's go back to the Jerry being late example. So let's say he was late a couple times, okay? And then all of a sudden it's like a Thursday and I'm like, oh, Jerry's probably going to be late again. Okay, like I'm already upset. So first of all, Jerry's not even late yet. And second of all, I'm getting upset thinking he's going to be late because he has a couple other times. Oh, catch yourself. No, it hasn't happened yet. He's going to be on time today. Okay. So, it's just about catching those moments and living in the present moment. So living in the present moment, meaning, not getting upset for future events that possibly haven't happened yet or may not actually even happen, but we're getting upset at them based on previous facts that we've seen in our life. So finding your little thought patterns like that end up happening, are very, very important to catch yourself, because again, being aware of them, that's your inner conversation. And then when you become aware of them, having that word with yourself saying, no, my thoughts create, everyone's me pushed out. I'm going to change it right now. And it may not change the next time. You may have to keep on it. It may take a few times, but it will actually eventually change. It's about going out there and practicing. I've had it where I've created that Jerry was late, and then I've intended he'd be on time, but he was still late that day, probably because there's a whole bunch of other complaints that needed to manifest. And then I kept on him being on time in my head. And then sure enough, the next time he was. Okay. So sometimes the opposite may show up. That's only because there's other thoughts out there that you've already thrown out that may need to manifest, but it's just about acknowledging and going, no, that's fine. He's going to be on time next time. Okay. And going through other stories that you may have, sometimes it's not just one thought, okay, that causes Jerry to be late. A lot of times it's a story behind it. So what do I mean by that? It'll be, Jerry's late. That's because Jerry can never be anywhere on time, and he's got a very unreliable car. Okay, so me intending for Jerry to be on time with those two other pieces of information, that he's not reliable and like he's got an unreliable car, okay, those need to be changed as well, because those three thoughts of Jerry being late because of his car and also because he's just not a very reliable person, those things have to change about Jerry as well for him to actually be on time. So a lot of the times it takes an overhauling of the complete story to actually shift the situation, and it's not just one intention that will cause it. Okay, and that's why on this channel, I do talk a lot about writing out your complaints about a situation and changing them all over to, positive intentions of what you want. Okay. Because when you deal with all of those stories, right, in your subconscious mind, you're just rooting out the weeds so you can let the flowers actually grow. So it's so important to take what we've previously created and the whole entire story behind it and change it. It's just not enough for me to go, no, Jerry's going to be on time. I'm not even going to think about his car. It's unreliable. It's like, how can he be on time if his car's unreliable, right? So it's about his car's reliable, Jerry's reliable, he's got integrity, he's always on time because he's, he makes sure that he does that, and then also intending he's on time, right? And the other part of that is not making it personal, meaning that Jerry being late is disrespecting you. Because once we add the fact we're making his behavior mean he's disrespecting us, now that adds an emotional component to it, which we really don't need, because it's just what it is, right? It's not about, we created Jerry as, late, and then to make it mean that he's disrespecting us, it just adds now a second story. Now that there's something wrong with us, why is he disrespecting me? Because I'm not good enough, Yeah, if I had better dancing dress, he would be on time. Why add that extra story in there? Don't make it personally about you, and don't make their behavior mean anything malicious towards you. And then just take what their behavior is as feedback and focus on what you want to create instead. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's my secret to my success and how I do things. I think I got a little bit off of topic of how I created my beliefs in creating. But again, it's from experience and practice, and basically, being aware of my inner conversations and catching the ones that were not serving me anymore, and focusing and being careful with a lot of my thoughts in the areas that I wanted to, and practice. A lot of things have manifested instantly in my life, but a lot of other things have taken, a good couple years to work at. And The only reason why they took longer than the others is because I chose to make them take longer through my thoughts and, you know, and not being on top of it, not making a clear resolve on things, right? But the thing is, right, is it's okay because we learn from them. And as long as we learn from what we've done in the past, we'll only get better at what we're going to do in the future. Okay, so that's my video for today. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. You guys are all amazing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.